Today we're making 3 different types of bread maker cinnamon roll. The classic kind, baked in a dish, individual rolls inspired by Finnish korvapuusti, and finally cinnamon roses. Stick around till the end and I'll show you how to turn them into a pudding too. You do not want to miss that. Oh shit. You'll find all the ingredients listed in the description. Add them to the bread pan, then pop the pan into the bread machine. Check the yeast dispenser, then add the dried yeast. Select the basic dough setting. The dough's done, so I'm just going to make the filling quickly. Butter, soft brown sugar and cinnamon. Oh, my bowl is a bit small. I've actually made double the amount of filling here. I wish I could claim it's intentional, but it's not. I'm gonna get the dough out of the bread machine now, and the cycle completed, oh God, a while ago, and I just left it in there because I was out and I didn't get back in time. So, the dough is looking big and pillowy. Okay. The dough is going to be very hard to handle because I've left it a bit long. You saw that butter, an egg, milk, and a little bit of sugar went into this dough. You could make this cluster of cinnamon rolls with a bog standard dough. And in my bread machine, that would take 45 minutes. This enriched dough takes 2 hours 20, but I think it's worth it. I just think the texture of the dough is so much nicer. It's all sort of bubbly and pillowy compared to the plain dough, which in the bread maker manual is called pizza dough. And that's fine. If you are pushed for time and you want to make these rolls, you can absolutely use the plain dough. Because, whoop, you're going to be baking these rolls in a closed dish. So all that butter and sugar filling basically has nowhere to go. And I think that makes the rolls really delicious. But if you have the time, do try this enriched dough. Now, with any kind of roll that you're making like this, with a yeast dough, with bread, I do think it's best on the day you make them. Like, that's when they're at their peak. But these rolls are fine on the second day as well. What I tend to do is either give them 10 to 15 seconds in the microwave, or, oh God, this is so annoying. The thing keeps moving. Or just dunk them in tea or coffee. Just gonna get a tea towel under here. Hopefully you can see that the dough is quite bubbly. Almost feels alive. This recipe can easily be doubled. This is 300 grams of white bread flour. And well, the recipe on our blog specifies 600 grams, but because I'll be making the individual rolls as well, and then the cinnamon roses, that is just too many cinnamon rolls for 2 people. I'm going to give a lot of them away. I'm going to cut it into a rectangle because that will just make the rolls more even. But don't worry, I'm not going to waste the excess dough. That gets rolled out into another little bun, and that one usually gets a bit of Nutella in it. Onto the filling. I have a silicone palette knife and a metal one. The metal one is so much better at spreading the filling. Oh, this looks like quite a lot of filling. I am just going to, I know what I've done. I've made filling. I've made filling for a 600 gram dough, and this is 300. So no harm done. I am just gonna halve it. There we go. Ooh, I'm glad I realised that. I don't think anything terrible would have happened if I used the whole lot. They would be very, very rich though. I have gone almost up to the edges on the 3 sides and left about a 1/2 centimetre border at the top. It's a bit haphazard, it doesn't matter. Just realised I need to beat an egg. Right, now we roll. And we'll brush a little bit of egg just along the top to help seal it. I want the seam to be along the bottom. If any of the layers do stick together, you can sort of just pull them apart so you get that nice swirl. The oven's been on for a couple of minutes. I am going to put these in there to proof for 1/2 an hour. It will go into the oven to proof, along with the rolls. This is them straight out of the oven, looking a little bit rustic. They are going to get cream cheese icing when they've cooled a bit. If I didn't want to ice them, I would have brushed them with a bit of egg before they went into the oven, just to make the tops a bit sort of more glazed and shiny looking. I'm hoping you can see, I have to show you the Nutella roll. It did not come out as I was expecting. Can you see that? I'll put some B-roll in of it because it's just an absolute stunner. I should not have left the dough once it was done. Tomorrow, I'll be making the dough again to show you individual cinnamon rolls and roses, and I will not leave the dough, and you'll see that it is much more manageable. Icing sugar, full fat cream cheese and milk. Add the milk slowly, you won't need a lot. It's a bit thick. I'll add more milk. Still too thick. Okay, that's better. I added another 1/2 teaspoon of milk to get it to pour. I really love the texture of this dough. Very buttery. Oh, I can already feel that this is just easier to manage. Can you see the bubble? So yesterday was manic from start to finish, and we went to a candlelight Hans Zimmer concert in the evening. It's just an hour long, not the Hans Zimmer, and it was really beautiful. And at the end, a big group of northern lads came out, and I heard one say to the others, "Well, that wasn't what I was expecting from Facebook." And it made me wonder, I mean, it's a string quartet playing Hans Zimmer songs. I don't know what he was expecting. I think he was disappointed, but honestly, it was really beautiful, and I think they do about 300 of these candlelight events now all around the UK, so if you spot one, well, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go in 2 directions with this dough. The individual rolls, inspired by Finnish korvapuusti. They're really lovely, and they are the least sugary of the 3 rolls that we're making because they've got the filling, and just on the top all they've got is a little bit of pearl sugar. Then I'm going to make cinnamon roses, and that is going to be a little bit of an experiment. Yeah, it's going onto the dough easier today. To get that classic korvapuusti shape, cut the log at an angle, making sure that the top is at least 1 centimetre wide. Try not to cut it into a point. Flip each roll so that the narrow end points towards the sky. We're going to press each roll firmly in the middle, either using a finger or something thin and rounded. I should say that proper korvapuusti tends to have more butter in the dough and not so much in the filling. That gets around the issue of the filling escaping while the rolls bake, especially as I've only made 4 today. Usually I'll get a batch of 10 to 12 out of the dough. Place the rolls onto a tray lined with baking paper. I've actually proved korvapuusti in a muffin tin before, but it completely changed their shape. They looked a bit weird and brain-like to me, so I haven't repeated that. Now for the roses. Chop your log in half, then cut each half lengthways. Now cut each quarter lengthways and twist the strips tightly. I'll link to the blog post that inspired these. Roll into a rose shape and place into a muffin tin. This tin doesn't need to be greased, but yours might. Prove for around half an hour. The 30-minute timer has gone off and these have risen. They are going to get an egg wash topping now, and then the pearl sugar goes on top. For 2 reasons. The sugar will stick to the egg, and also if you put the sugar on last, it keeps its sparkly white colour. They are ready to go into the oven. Sort of torn with what to do with them. I was going to make a glaze, but I feel like they've already got quite a lot of filling in them. I'm going to coat them with a bit of egg wash. I've used a non-stick muffin tin from Lakeland. It cost a tenner. In the reviews, people said that Yorkshire puddings always come out cleanly, and I've certainly found its non-stick properties to be decent. It cleans up easily after a bit of a soak. I have now made an awful lot of cinnamon rolls. Out of all of them, these experimental roses are my favourite. I really like the size and the shape, and the fact that they're proved in a muffin tin. I just took a bite and realised I should record it. They're so good. They're so good. They're really sweet and buttery. Oh God. I've got quite a lot of leftover cinnamon rolls, so I'm going to turn them into a pudding now. It's a bit like bread and butter pudding, which I know isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but I have really fond childhood memories of bread and butter pudding. And I'm going to use this dish. I like this one because it's got a bit of height, so the pudding is a bit taller. Going to add chocolate chunks. Sometimes I add sultanas, raisins, they all work really well. And the other addition is bourbon, totally optional, but I love the flavour it adds. Grease your dish generously with butter. I've got 360 ml of milk here and 3 eggs, a splash of bourbon, and once again I've chosen a jug that's slightly too small. As a general rule, I'll mix 120 ml of milk and 1 egg per 100 grams of pastry. Chocolate chips or chunks, as much as you like. I've really gone for it here as I'm trying to use up this bar that Cole doesn't love. Scatter them in and around the pastries. Pour over the milk and egg mixture, then squash the pastries down so they can absorb the liquid. Finish with more chocolate chunks. I've been quite generous. Into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. A smaller pudding won't take this long. It's done and it smells wonderful. Run a spatula or fish slice along the edges to free the pudding. It's an absolute unit and I really want it to come out in one piece. Success! I've now got Homer Simpson's voice in my head. Eat the pudding, eat the pudding, eat the pudding, eat the pudding. It's a bit of a monster in the best possible way. It actually weighs quite a bit. We'll eat some of it tonight, maybe some of it tomorrow, and the rest will go into the freezer. It is really nice with cream poured over it, or a scoop of ice cream, But to be honest, we mostly just eat it plain. I quite like it just as it is. Anyway, what do you think? Which batch of cinnamon rolls would you make? And would you make this pudding, this classic British pudding? Sort of. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. On a side note, while I'm here with these guys, I picked them up while I was on holiday in the Netherlands, and I've just got to say they're bloody awful. I'm going to show you the ones that they're supposed to replace, which I loved. Please excuse them because they've been heavily used and they're waiting to go in the wash. Oh, yeah, they look a bit... If you're going to buy oven gloves, make sure make sure they're like sock puppets, because this shape is just so useless. I don't grab things like this. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that while I'm here.